I'm just going to show how I like to use an underrated pedal, I think, even though they're quite expensive, the Strymon Deco for synths. Well, it's for guitars, but it's like it's like having two tape decks, so you can get sort of flanging effects, real sort of thickening effects, and it's got a tape saturation effect as well, which are independent of each other. So I'll just show how I like to use it. There's a couple of ways. That's right, that's nothing. Well, I'm going to keep the saturation off and just turn on the double track. So what I'll do, now there's actually two signals going in there, and if I bring the wobble up, which is kind of it's not a straight LFO, it's like a modulated random kind of wobble, you'll hear it starts getting into flanging when it's set to, when the second deck's set to 0. It's great for thickening. You can start delaying the second deck. More into chorus sort of territory. And you can really delay it. There you can hear the two. You get slightly different effects with the type. Put it there. Get a bit more cancelling out in the middle one. The third one, that adds an extra sort of bounce. You can hear that stereos it. Which is just great. Trouble with this button. That's great. Great for that widening, but you can set it with there's quite a few secondary functions on these. I hold this down. Right, so that's in full stereo mode now. The original signal, or the original deck's on the left, second deck's on the right. Take the modulation off. You're not hearing much difference there because they're both set to 0, so they're both at the same time. We'll start delaying one side. Effectively, I've taken the modulation off. You're kind of double tracking. Turn that on again. You can hear the delay on one. It's great for widening a monosynth sound. Really subtle. Oh. I should turn someone else on there. And I use that a lot, literally just to widen the signal, especially if you don't really want modulation. You don't want a chorus, you just want a wider, thicker sound. I mean, you can add the pitch wobble, but it only affects the one side. That's pretty much how I always use it. And then you've got the saturation. Works better with some types of sounds than others. Almost softens it, because it's not just the saturation, there's also the natural compression you would get from tape. Models that as well. But this is what I use all the time. Just makes any mono synth part sound massive. As you can have stereo inputs, configure it on a Y cable, but it doesn't stereo in left and right. It kind of sums the stereo signal, so there's no real point as far as I can see. Anyway, that's how I like to use this pedal all the time on any mono synth part, really, either for widening or just for that thickening effect with a slight phasing going on with the modulation. And then you got the saturation when you want to use that as well. It's just one of those pedals that not a lot of people know about or use or that fussed about, because it just seems so sort of, I don't know, just a weird pedal to really want, but just basic sounds, it just adds so much. Anyway, that's the Strymon Deco on MFB Dominion 1.